Hello, I'm Holly O'Mara, maker and founder of CraftyBun Studio, based in Birmingham. I specialise in doing different types of printmaking. I do collograph, dry point, lino cut and wood cut, my main techniques, but today we'll be focusing on doing monoprinting from home. In each of your packs you should find a roller, masking tape, a biro pen, a tube of block printing ink, a sheet of perspex, and you'll also have some tracing paper, some cartridge paper, some scrap newspaper, and I provided some imagery to help as a source of inspiration, or you're more than welcome to use your own drawings or do freehand drawing whilst doing monoprinting. So what we're going to do next is get our piece of perspex and a sheet of scrap newspaper. This is just to help protect your table from any ink, and also we're going to stick down the sheet of perspex with a piece of masking tape, so the newspaper just protects your table underneath. So then you take your tube of ink and your roller, and what we're going to do is just put out a tiny bit of ink onto the surface of the perspex, and then you're going to use your roller to drag the ink downwards and then push it in different directions. This allows us to get a nice even coverage of ink on our perspex. Just keep pushing that around. I'm going to go for a rectangular shape to suit the drawing that I did earlier. So you don't need to roll it out over all your perspex, you can keep it quite tidy. And I think I've actually got a bit too much ink on this time. So what I'm going to do is grab my other piece of scrap paper and I'm going to lie that down over my ink and rub all over quite firmly. Because if you have too much ink on your plate, then when you come to doing the next step, you'll find it becomes too blotchy. I'm just going to get a fresh side of newspaper. Just rub over one more time. Gives you a nice layer of ink then. And just to level it out, just roll back over your roller. Your piece of cartridge paper, and you're just going to lay that down gently and drop it, and then at that point don't touch the back of it at all. because you'll end up with a big inky splodge. I'm going to grab another piece of masking tape, lightly tape that down at the top, and then I'm going to grab my drawing from earlier. And one thing to note here is if I want the image to come out the way that I've got it right now, I need to reverse it. So I need to turn my tracing paper over. This is particularly important if you're including lettering in your print, because otherwise your print will come out backwards and you won't be able to read it. So then we stick it down as well, keep it in place. So the next tip, we're going to draw over the back of our drawing here, and what I recommend people do, if you're left-handed, place your right hand down on the table, and that allows you to rest your wrist for your writing hand, which stops you from pressing down on the paper and smudging your drawing. And the same if you're right-handed, then you put your left arm down and you can rest your right hand over the top then. You will find it's a little bit tricky to get nice straight lines, so I'd suggest being quite sketchy with your drawing. So you just keep drawing around your design. I find these coloured biros work really nicely because you can see where you've drawn. So, once you've drawn around all the outline and the fine lines that you want on your drawing, what we can then do is have a little sneak peek. We peel back 2 layers and you can see underneath the drawing so far. I'm pretty happy with that, so I'm going to place them back down again carefully. But what I still need to do is colour in these darker areas. So there's a few ways we can do that. With the larger areas, I'm just going to use my little finger, holding the paper down in place on the corner. I'm just going to press down where those dark areas are. Same on his legs. Be super accurate, it should give him a nice fuzzy effect. A bit in the beak there. And then what I'm going to do for the middle of his eyes here is resting over my arm again. I'm just going to use my biro to scribble in those areas. That should give me a nice dense black area. Then lift it up again. You should be able to see those bits where I did with my finger. And then his eyes are much denser in black. So now I'm going to carefully take off these bits of tape, layer by layer. Drawing. Be careful with it, sometimes it does catch the back of the paper. Look at my print. There it is. So you can see on the plate here there's actually a really nice impression left behind. So what's always worth a go is getting another piece of paper and just laying it over the top, and then just pressing down, firmly rub all over. Make sure you're holding it in place with one of your hands at the same time. You can also, using a wooden spoon, rub over the back of it. That sometimes gives you a nice pressure. So look, there we go. So you've got the two positive and negative puffins there.